I can perfectly understand how people would get tired of racism day in and day out. And if America goes bankrupt, I promise you it won't go bankrupt on racism at all. It'll still have plenty of that left. So let's talk about this story, y'all. There are more and more Black Americans that are willing to give Africa a try. So they're saying more and more are concerned for their future. They don't want a future of racism leading to the grave. And I don't blame them. And plus, housing is a lot less over in Africa than it is here in the US. And it's easier for people if you wanted to get a house built from scratch. You can do that a lot easier in Africa than you could here in America. So, Black Americans who found new homes in Africa, they are enjoying the lower cost of living. And more importantly, they said it's absent of racism and discrimination they experience all the time in the US. The pandemic and the racial reckoning in the wake of George Floyd led some Black Americans to seek a different way of life abroad in a movement that some are calling Blaxit. Those moving to Africa are also looking for ancestral connections. Their migration is less about money and more about acceptance, the path that many intellectuals and artists have taken before. Today, New Life in Africa is open to people of varied professions who can work remotely. Immigration has been fueled by vocal proponents on social media and by government programs like Sierra Leone Path to Citizenship and Ghana's Beyond the Return campaign. And this is according to the Diaspora Affairs Office of Ghana. At least 1,500 African Americans moved to the country between 2019 and 2023, despite the potential concerns for newcomers, including a wave of extreme and anti LGBTQ policies across the continent. Black Americans are still making the trip. So, there's a bunch of different people in the article. Some are from Houston, New York, Washington, D.C., is people from all over that have decided to move to Africa. So it's a woman from Houston that chose to move to Rwanda, and another woman from Houston moved to Uganda, and another couple settled in Zanzibar. Well, good for them. If they're happy with their move, then, it's a good thing. Ashley Cleveland, 39, a mother of two who runs a company that helps foreigners invest in and grow their business in Africa. She relocated from Atlanta to Tanzania in 2020 and is based now in South Africa. She said she appreciates that in much of Africa, race is an abstract concept. Seeing Black African people on the money, on the billboards, you immediately eliminate your, all the racist baggage from America. And I don't blame people for that. She said she welcomed the change for her children. One child is 9, the other is 2. When they left the United States, her older daughter, whose skin tone is deep brown, was no longer bullied because of her complexion. And there's also something called the Exodus Club, which has been helping people in African diaspora move to the continent since 2017. So they do consulting for people that are interested in moving over to the continent. Now, this person that runs it lived in Ohio, and they chose to move to Senegal, which they've been there for 10 years. And they're saying they see an increased number of Black Americans relocating to Africa over the past several years. There are 10 times as many coming now than 5 or 6 years ago. By estimate, demand for the Exodus Club services has grown at least 20% every year since its founding. They said when their first year in business, they had about 30 clients. Becoming a repat felt empowering. And this man, his name is Maldi. He was a Black Muslim when he lived in the United States. And he said that, although Black Americans are 14% of the population, 2% are Muslim. In Senegal, however, nearly everyone is Black and Muslim. So, and also a woman have moved there. She is, she calls herself a Black Jewish. I know usually it's Jew, but they're saying Jewish. And they moved from the United States to Uganda. And she worked in commercial real estate in a company located in Texas. And now she runs a nonprofit supporting Ugandan women and disabled children. That's what she and her husband do. And they live in a Jewish community in Uganda. So those are all African Jews. So, wow. So, again, they said, they get to live every day minus all of the racism. For years, she had made accommodations, big and small, to try to control other people's perceptions, smiling to appear non threatening, buying nicer clothes to avoid being mistaken for a domestic worker, straightening her hair to be seen more professional. Wow. So, this is what she was saying. She doesn't have to deal with any of those things anymore. So, it seems like they all still got family back home. And look, if they're happier making that move, I mean, I'm happy for them. Many people make the transatlantic exodus to stop fighting. And this is another couple from Los Angeles, and they moved to Rwanda in 2021 before settling in Zanzibar. And they said it's been a great load off of their shoulder since moving to Africa. Yeah, well, that's one thing. America is never going to change. I mean, you should know that by now. We should all know that by now. And either some people can deal with it or get through it the best that they can. And some people are just so fed up, they just want to get away from it. And that's all I see in this story. I just see a lot of people that finally, after dealing with racism all throughout their lives, they decided they just had enough and they want to get away from it. Over time it does. It gets on your nerve. It really does. And you can see the people that are doing this, they never grow tired of it. You'll drop dead waiting for them to get tired of it. But y'all, what do you think? Do you think it is worth leaving and relocating to Africa? Now, I know a lot of people saying, them folks are over there too. Yeah, that's true. But nevertheless, you should still see more Africans than you see them. They're not over there in such a big number where you would overwhelmingly see them. But please tell me what you think about the recent increase over the last several years of what they call African Americans leaving America and relocating over in Africa. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.